Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Behind the Screen. So today we're going to be talking about Matt and Abby, specifically about Matt. Because I feel like at this point it's like clockwork. Every 3 or 4 months they do something to make people mad. Because honestly, if Matt isn't throwing tantrums like a full-grown toddler, making Abby feel guilty for, birthing his children, or they're not casually letting us know the brilliant hack of leaving your kids alone, your toddlers alone, on cruise ships with the help of a baby monitor so that you can go to dinner kids free, then they're just whining about how they never get the time to do what they want to do. Meanwhile, they're practically living at the gym, hitting up salons, dining out, and constantly going on vacation. Honestly, though, without all of that, would it even be Matt and Abby? That's just who they are. But this time around, we're going to be talking about Matt, as we so often do, because in a since deleted video that he put out, he was basically begging and pressuring Shari Franke to go on to his and Abby's podcast, the Unplanned podcast, and reveal secrets that were not in the book. And it made a lot of people mad. And Shari herself actually made her point known without saying a single word. So we're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about the fact that Matt acting like he was going to be some champion for Shari and for the book is basically him being the biggest hypocrite ever, because the Unplanned podcast is essentially just a massive platform for child exploiters, not to mention Matt and Abby themselves are no strangers to family vlogging. So we're going to be talking all about that, breaking it all down. Before we do, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment about what you think about all of this, give the video a thumbs up, basically all the things that people on YouTube ask you to do whenever you're watching the video. It's very appreciated. But anyway, you guys, let's get right into the video. So I feel like I can't really start this video without giving credit where credit is due. I would not have been able to make this video without the Matt and Abby Snarks page on Reddit. They had screenshots, breakdowns of what was said because the video was deleted. I could not find it. So without that page, I would have no idea what to even talk about. So go to that page if you want to get any more information about what we're talking about today. So like I said, the video was deleted, but from what I could piece together, essentially Matt said that Shari sent him the book to read, the book that she wrote, and he loved it, and he wanted her to go on the podcast because he felt like there were things that she didn't share, and so he was inviting her on to share all of the secrets, details, or whatnot that didn't make it into the book. He also said in the video that if Shari went on to the podcast, he and Abby would donate a certain amount of money, I don't know how much, to a children's charity, which we'll talk about all that in a minute because that's a lot to unpack just right there. But on the post, he put a poll. I'm going to read you the poll. I'm going to show it to you guys. So it said, we could even just talk about your advocacy work for children for an hour. He tagged Shari. He hashtagged the title of her book, The House of My Mother. He hashtagged Ruby's name. And then the options were, we want a 1 hour plus unfiltered interview, or I'm okay with just the book. So Matt got a ton of responses, and something tells me it was not the response that he was expecting. I'm going to read you some of the responses, but first I'm going to read you one that essentially just shows right out of the gate Matt was lying. So basically, before I show you the comment itself is from a woman who was a manager whenever it came to the production of Shari's book. So she knows Shari to a degree at least. She knows the project. She knows a lot. She's an insider source for Shari. But this woman or man, I'm not 100% sure, but this person wrote, Shari, nor did management send you her book. Please stop misrepresenting this. You are causing unwanted DMs asking her to be tagged, causing unwanted stress, exploiting a situation for your own gain, and you need to respect her privacy. If you received the book, it was sent to you out of respect by the publisher who denied your interview request. Shari did not send you a book. So right there goes to show, I mean, maybe he thought Shari sent him the book and it was a misunderstanding, but regardless, this person called him out and said, Shari didn't send you the book, and you're being very disrespectful because you're sending all of your followers after her, making her feel uncomfortable. Stop. You already were told no, so just stop. Again, we're going to get into all of this in a little bit, but let's get back to the comments. So I'm going to read you a couple more comments, and these ones are important because Shari herself liked the comments. She didn't comment herself on there, but she went and liked comments that she agreed with. So the first comment that she liked says, you literally started this video off by saying, I know there's so much information that exists that's not in this book, and I don't think it's her advocacy work that you're referring to. You want clicks for your podcast, and that's fine, but it's not going to be at the expense of a young woman who has made it very clear that she is working on moving forward. Writing this book is a closure to that chapter of her life. Again, Shari liked that comment. It's very clear she's closing that chapter of her life. If she wants to talk about it, she is going to, but she's not going to be forced into it, especially by Matt Howard. Then the other comment said, "This is so distasteful. Honestly, I understand why you want the interview, but it's trauma for her. It's her life, her family, and her recovery. She wrote a book to finally have her voice back. Just because she wrote it does not mean she owes you or anyone else more than that because you want to know more. She spoke about wanting privacy. Give her that and stop using a voting poll to pressure her." So yeah, I feel like those comments alone make it pretty clear how Shari feels. Shari does not appreciate anybody grifting off of her own personal trauma whatsoever. And this was actually made even more clear. One of you guys pointed this out, that her aunt Bonnie Holeen made an entire video saying her opinions on the book as if she should even have an opinion. She was not there for those kids. She didn't care, and she's still exploiting her kids after all of this. But she made this whole video about it, which got a ton more views than most of her other videos. And then she had the audacity to go and link on her Amazon storefront the book, meaning that she gets commissions off of anybody who gets that book. Do you think any of that money was going to Shari or a charity? No. It's probably going to go to her next home renovation or vacation. Somebody actually asked Chad on Snapchat about it, and he said that they were very annoyed that she would do such a thing, meaning that they, assuming he means him and Shari. So I have a couple opinions on this, but the first thing is that he made this video after being told no. The publisher told him, "No, Shari does not want to go on your podcast." That should have been it. End of story. He's allowed, as a podcast, to go ask whoever he wants if they want to be on the podcast behind the scenes, right? Not publicly, just emailing the manager or publisher or whoever and asking. But that's allowed. And whenever they give their answer, no, that should be that. And he should have moved on. But no, he did not stop there. He went and he posted a public video to all of his beyond loyal followers. Because let's face it, Matt and Abby, if anything, have very loyal followers. Side rant, side tangent, the whole cruise ship thing, I never made a video about it because it happened very early on with me being on YouTube. Make no mistake, there was no adult present in the room with the children on that cruise ship. There was a baby monitor, and that was it. Because if there was a parent or, not a parent, an aunt, uncle, grandparent in the room, Abby would have put that in the original post. She would have said, "Oh, here's how we had a kids free dinner. We, to keep an eye on them, had the baby monitor. It's a great hack, but also it's not a babysitter. Our aunt was there too." And if she didn't do that, the very first few messages coming in of people being like, "What the heck? What, like, did you literally leave your kids alone on a cruise ship whenever they're babies?" She would have said, "Oh my goodness, guys, no, no, no. My grandma was there. My grandpa was there. My aunt, my uncle, whoever, someone was there." Every single moment. Those kids were never alone, and they never did that. They did that after a few days of taking a break and then wearing matching, coordinating white outfits and doing their typical YouTuber apology video. My whole thing is, if they still have people sticking around after that, they have some pretty loyal, diehard followers who are going to go to bat for them for anything. Which means Matt knows that. He knows that he has a good fan base. And so he probably thought, "Oh, if I make this post, like, yeah, I was told no, but if I make this post and all my followers go and tag her and DM her, like, it's gonna pressure her and she'll have no choice but to say yes." Talk about backfiring. I think it's very clear, and I've seen people talk about this, Matt has never been told no a day in his life, ever. It's very clear that Abby does not tell him no. His parents don't tell him no. Talk about a massive parenting fail. His friends, I'm sure, don't tell him no. Like, nobody says no. Matt gets his way. If he has an idea, if he has anything going on, he is going to get his way. It's basically Matt's life, and we're all just living in it. Because it's pretty obvious, and I think we pretty much all know, when things don't go his way, he throws massive tantrums. I mean, God forbid his birthday falls on, oh, I don't know, Father's Day. Not only is Abby gonna hear about it, his kids are gonna hear about it, we're all going to hear about how horrible that a full grown man's birthday falls on Father's Day and he had to barbecue. That is going to be the end of the world because it's not just any man, it's Matt Howard. So Father's Day really should have been the next Sunday or the Sunday before. I don't know why the calendar gods were not made aware of this, but next year, Thank goodness. I don't think it does. Thank goodness for Abby. My goodness.
We've decided as a family that we are not celebrating Father's Day this year.
Father's Day, it's always in June, and it's like
Last
always
year
around.
was June 18th, which is Matt's birthday. So
Yes.
he had Father's Day and his birthday on the same day. And
So sad.
I will say I did kind of combine the holidays.
You did combine the two of them. It's okay though. I mean, you were pregnant, you were uncomfortable, you were
We
close.
just gotten back from our baby moon that day. I got you a cake from DQ.
I guess we had just
had
gotten
our
home.
family over and grilled.
Well, I grilled, but I know a lot of dads grill on their birthday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had Father's
And I
Day.
grew your child.
You did grow my child.
All day, every day.
But like Father's Day and my birthday were the same exact day.
Yeah, and
it kind of was a bummer.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I failed you. I'm
Hey,
so
but
sorry.
you know what? This year, we're boycotting Father's Day for the month of June and celebrating it 3 months after my birthday.
My point is that Matt does not know the word no, clearly. To further that point, I read people on Reddit talking about how Trisha Paytas has talked about the fact that Matt has asked her multiple times to go on the podcast, and she continues to say no, and he continues to keep asking.
Hi. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Sorry.
There's always been this thing, I feel like, like a saying, don't take no for an answer. But when it comes to a human being's decision about their own life, and someone saying, no, I don't want to go on your podcast, or no, our client Shari doesn't want to go on your podcast, that's what you should take that as no. It shouldn't just be like I'm not going to take no for an answer. When it's someone's personal life, their personal choice, that should be respected, but not by Matt Howard. He lives by a different set of rules, right? My second thing with this whole situation is that the idea that Matt thought that it would even be a good idea to ask Shari to go on his podcast is about as hypocritical as it gets. I mean, let's take a look at their podcast. It's a platform for child exploiters. I'm not even sure what the theme of the podcast is. I think they literally named the podcast the Unplanned Podcast because they weren't expecting to have their second child, and they let us all know how shocked that they were and what seemed to be disappointed.
Matt, holy crap. I'm pregnant. Matt, okay. Are you happy? Yes, of course. We knew we wanted more than one baby. It's okay. Okay, but 5 months old. I know.
Anyway, but if you go through it, they have had some of the worst of the worst with whenever it comes to just people who have no problem exploiting kids on the internet. So let's go through just some of the people that they've had on. They have had Kay and Tay, which I'll admit I don't know much about Kay and Tay, but I do know that they do exploit their kid or kids. I'm not sure they have one or two. They've had Sarah and Derek Beeston. They had the whole Beeston bunch, the whole Beeston crew. They had the little Brants on there. They had Bella and Dallin, which I know some of you guys have said to me, oh, that Bella and Dallin aren't that bad. You know, I think Bella's just excited that she could have a kid. Go to their channel and give me one thumbnail in the past year that does not have that kid in it, and then come back and let me know if they're exploiting the kid or not. Come on. They had Sean Johnson and Andrew on, which I don't think they show their kids anymore or as much. But all I know is that for the first few years of those kids' lives, their shorts would pop up all the time on my phone. Their kids were in all of the videos. They had Zach and Tori on there, who used to be on the show Little People Big World on TLC. And let's face it, I feel like TLC is where children being used for content started with Johnny K+8. I think the reason Zach and Tori stopped the show is because their oldest son, who I think is now 7 or 8, said he doesn't want to be filmed anymore. So good for them for stopping, but nonetheless, they had no problem filming for the first 7 years of his life. And right here, they had Abby Lee Miller. I mean, come on. She has caused so much trauma for so many children who are now young men and young women. She is truly a pretty heinous person.
JoJo! Have you learned nothing?
And they had her on there. My point is, why would Matt think that Shari would want to go on that podcast whenever it's a platform for everything that she hates? No wonder she said no. I mean, why wouldn't she? Use your brain, Matt. Come on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this update. I saw a lot of people talking about it. I figured I would cover it real quick. It's probably gonna be a shorter video. But what do you guys think about all of this? Are you even surprised at this point, truly, with someone like Matt? I feel like one of these days I want to do a whole entire video just about him because there's so many things I could talk about, but I just have zero respect for someone like him because take out the whole family vlogging thing. And I know that they don't show their kids anymore, but they also didn't take the videos down to my knowledge. I think they're still up, which means they're still making money on them. They exploited the heck out of both of their pregnancies. Even though they don't show their kids' faces anymore, we still hear quite a bit about them. Not to mention, again, they literally left their kids on a cruise ship. But Matt himself is just, it's like that guy who just didn't get to do all the things he wanted to, got married super young, and now just has a ton of regrets because he didn't get to live life to the fullest, and he takes it out on Abby, it seems like, any chance he gets, even though she'll deny it and deny it, deny it, because if she ever even admitted to it, it would shatter their whole perfect family, perfect marriage image that they have going for them. But it's pretty clear that he definitely has some issues to sort out, and it's also very clear that he was never told no by his mom and dad. But anyway, I do not blame Sherry for saying no to that. Had she have gone on, I also wouldn't have had an issue with it. It's her choice ultimately. But again, I don't blame her for not going on. She should be able to share her story if she wants, and she has with the book. That should be it. If she wants to talk more, she can't. If she doesn't, she doesn't. No need to pressure her. No need to go and make her feel bad or guilt trip her into it. Send your crazy followers after her, make her feel bad because if she doesn't go on, then money's not going to be donated to a certain charity. It's all incredibly manipulative, controlling, and just flat out gross. That's how I feel about it, but let me know what you guys think about it. And that is going to be all for today's video. I will see you guys again next time.